What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we're covering the breakout that is going to happen from Luna within the next 24 hours, exactly what I'm expecting, how I'm going about it, and what this can mean for the price over the next couple of days, and possibly even the next few weeks. So with that said, since this video is a bit time sensitive, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into today's video. So, what we know is that over the last couple of weeks, Luna Classic's price has been soaring, right? If we jump over to the charts, you can see here that it has been absolutely phenomenal. Now, looking at the dailies, let's just look at the daily candles. This thing is up insane, right? It is up roughly, I would give it a solid over 250%. And this is, of course, off the back of all the news we have been seeing recently. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into it. You guys already know, but we have been seeing the news of the burns and the burn upgrade, many different exchanges such as MEXC accepting that burn upgrade. We've also seen staking go live just a couple days ago. And so for that reason, the community has been extremely excited, and that has led to a lot of growth in the price itself. But going forward, what we need to be paying attention to is at this point the 4-hour charts and this breakout that we are going to see within the next 24 hours. Now, the word breakout does not mean it is going to shoot up. It does not mean that it is going to shoot down. Of course, that is up for us to try to figure out before it happens. But breakout simply means that it is going to see a strong move out of this structure it's been forming. And that point of apex right here, the intersection point of these two lines, is in about 24 hours. So we know it has to happen within 24 hours. Now, what we've been seeing from Luna Classic over the last couple weeks, right, has been a lot of the creation of structure, and that's always important. I know people love to see parabolic growth. I know people love to see the price just go up, but structure is what allows that continuation of growth. These moments where the bulls and the bears have these fights, we create structure and allow that structure to guide us into the future is what's important. And so as you can see here, we have structure now. So what we need to be on the lookout for at this point is how do we interact with this structure that we are in now? Well, generally speaking, whenever you are in a macro uptrend and enter into what can be considered a symmetrical triangle, which is what we have here, that is typically going to be considered a bullish continuation pattern. What that means is that more often than not, not saying all the time, but more often than not, we will see the price of whatever crypto is within this bullish triangle break out to the upside. Now, does that mean it has to go up another 100%, 200%? No. But generally speaking, again, it will clear this line of resistance, but it is not guaranteed. Now, I kind of emphasize the fact that it's not guaranteed because of what is happening as we are reaching this line and establishing this trend. What I mean by that is, as you can see, this level right here that created the first point of resistance here on this line was a wick. Now, what a wick means is that the price worked itself all the way up here, but before the price could even close, the bulls kind of started to fail, the bears kicked in and started to push the price down, creating this line. Now, the second point that we created on this line was also a strong wick. What this wick shows is that as we did revisit and establish this trend line, the bears stepped in and pushed the price down on the close, not allowing us to close on this level. And what that says is that as we get towards this line, the bears step in and start to pull the price back to the downside. So although it is typical that we will see the price break to the upside, it is not guaranteed, of course, because we are seeing the bears still stepping in. Now, before we do continue, of course, I do want to remind you I am on BitGet, and that is what I have been doing all of my trading on recently. It is the best exchange in the world, in my opinion, in terms of fees and how easy it is to use. So if you are new to it, you can get up to $4,000 in bonuses with the first link in the description below. Do go check them out, as of course they are a partner of the channel. It can help you out a ton, and again, I do believe it does not get better than them. But back to technical analysis, okay? So now that we know it could go up, it could go down, you know, we're kind of in the middle. Let's kind of start to look for hints and signs as to what is more likely to happen, okay? Well, again, remember, it is more likely that we will break to the top side here, right? Historically speaking, in terms of statistics. Now, let's also look at the 4-hour RSI. Maybe we can get some signs here. So if we go ahead and pull up the RSI here, we can kind of get a better idea of what's going on a bit behind the scenes. Now, over the last about a week and a half, we can see that the RSI has set a macro low and has now come down to barely establish already a lower low. Well, if we compare that to the price, it's pretty obvious that in the same time we established this macro low, we went up and we are still well above this point, setting the higher low. Now, whenever you have a lower low on the RSI and a higher low on the price, of course, that is going to be bullish divergence. And what that says is that your 4-hour chart is resetting. It's coming down, it's allowing itself to cool down, and we're seeing that reset with without needing to see the price work itself in a similar fashion, right? If we were running completely parallel, we would be at a point lower than where we were back here at about 13. So it tells us that we are in a phase of bullishness, right? And even in a reset of this nature, we are still seeing those 4-hour charts resetting, which says that there is still room to continue this pump to the upside. That is always a good sign when you're seeing bullish divergence, especially on the 4-hour charts with a 4-hour structure of this nature. What that does is further confirms to me that there is a strong chance that we do get this break to the upside. So considering the fact that more often than not, we will see a break to the upside and we are getting bullish divergence that says it is possible, let's talk about what I'm personally going to do if we are going to get that break to the upside. Well, I'm personally going to wait first and foremost for a 4-hour close above this line. If we do not get the 4-hour close, I am not going to do anything. Again, we wicked here, we wicked here. It says that even though we might come all the way up here, we still could get this push to the downside, okay? So I need the 4-hour close. Now, what happens when we break out of structure of this nature is we need to pay attention to these 2 points that we establish resistance, okay? This point and this point. This is number 1 and this is number 2, okay? And we're going to draw a line at number 1 and draw a line at number 2. These are our 2 challenges. What we need to worry about is even in a moment where we get a breakout to the upside, these are the 2 points that very possibly could give us a fake out to the upside, which leads to a crash to the downside. It could either happen here, or we could get the double top and it happen here, which would be much more catastrophic, okay? So what I'm going to be doing is if I'm going to be laddering into Luna Classic off of a breakout, I'm going to be doing a small buy here on the 4-hour close outside this line, a small buy again once we were capable of closing above this first level of resistance, and then my final buy would happen once we're capable of staying and closing above, getting the 4-hour close above that about 30 level. Once we're capable of clearing these 3 steps, that is going to be the point where I am the most bullish, and then very confident that we could see some type of continuation as high as another 20 to even 30%. But remember, these are your obstacles. At any given point in one of these levels, whether it's the trend line, the first breakout target, or the second breakout target, any one of them could easily put us in a position to continue to the downside. So I'm not going to be doing huge buying until we're able to clear those obstacles. Now, let's talk about what happens in a scenario that we break to the downside, okay? Where could this thing go if we do get a correction and a crash towards the downside? Well, what it kind of does, which is kind of a cool, you know, it's a bit of an interesting thing, is that similarly to where we have breakout targets to the upside, we also have them to the downside. Now, the downside is a little bit different in this example because we only have one strong example of support on this trend line other than the level that we're at right now. So what that level is going to be is about 22. And what we can see here is that if we were capable of breaking to the downside here, the only obstacle that would stop us from continuing to the downside would be this 22 level. So if we do break to the downside, I'm not really going to stress too much. I would say, well, we still have this 22 level. We still could be in a position to start entering into some type of descending wedge. And so for that reason, I'm really not all too concerned that a major correction to the downside is going to happen until we break through 22. If that happens, I think the next level we need to be on the lookout for is 16. Now, that's a pretty steep drop, honestly. You guys can see that that is a fall of about roughly 25%. But the reason I would say that that is possible is because of the lack of liquidity on the way up. Whenever you just absolutely smash through levels and you go straight up through them, we have a strong tendency of going straight down through them as well. And so for that reason, whenever you look at something like the daily RSI, and we're all the way up into this overextended about 70 level over your overbought territory, that kind of says that there is a lot of room to the downside, and we could see some type of further correction back to even possibly again revisit those previous highs that we established back in June and July. Okay, so what I would be on the lookout for here is how do we break out of this structure? That's the easiest way to go about it. When you have a structure, it is a cheat code. Look for it. If we break out to the upside, there's a 3-step buying program that I usually use, which is a little bit of a buy on the 4-hour close outside the line. Then again, once we clear number 1 and we clear number 2. Very simple, very easy. If we break to the downside here, it could very possibly be a situation that we bounce off of this level and come back up to clear this line. If that happens, that is a fantastic buying opportunity. But lastly, if we do go ahead and lose this point of support at 22, do expect us to start to push likely towards 20 to 19 and possibly even further down to 16. At that point, I would be looking to maybe do some accumulation because it could very possibly see the bounce from that point forward. Okay, so Overall, my whole game plan, remember, is to never tell you guys this is for sure going to happen, it's for sure going to break up, it's for sure going to break down, but more provide you with any outcome that could happen. It could do this, it could do this, and let you guys know exactly what to do, or what I'm going to do at least, in either of those situations, so that you're prepared for what this market brings. Remember, this market is volatile and it's unpredictable. You cannot predict this market no matter who you are. But what you can do is set a game plan and prepare for anything it gives you, so you can execute on that to create gains in any way possible. So for that reason, of course, that is my game plan. That's what I'm doing. And remember, I am here on BitGet. Do not forget, you can get up to $4,000 and some guaranteed bonuses if you do use my link down below. They do have the best fees and they do have the best exchange in the world, in my opinion, so it is worth a look. Definitely let me know what you think. But with that said, that's going to be about it for today's video. Of course, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, you can always let me know simply by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And I will see you all next time. Peace.